بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. Hello everyone and welcome to the first lesson of chapter 1, which is overview of statistics, and it's important in our introduction to probability and descriptive statistics course. I'm Dr. Chaima SAADI from the University of Abdelhamide Mehri Constantine, Faculty of New Information and Communication Technologies. And today in this lesson we will introduce the basic concept of statistics and discover why statistics is an essential tool in many academic and professional fields. Let's begin by taking a quick look at the content of this chapter. So this chapter is organized into five section. First, we will introduce the statistics and explain its importance. Then, we will distinguish between qualitative and quantitative data. After that, we will present the main methods used to collect statistical data. Next, we will learn how to organize data using frequency, relative frequency, and percentage. And finally, we will conclude this chapter with an introduction to data visualization through different statistical charts and graphs. And now in this video, we will focus on the first section in this chapter, which is overview of statistics and its importance. Let's move on to its learning objectives of this chapter. By the end of this chapter, you will be able to classify statistical variables according to their nature. You will also distinguish between qualitative and quantitative variables as well as discrete and continuous one. In addition, you will learn how to illustrate variable assignment using practical population example. And finally, you will learn how to identify the relationship between the codomain of a variable and its statistical nature. Now, let's begin with the first topic of this chapter, and the question is, what is the statistics? So, the statistics as a field of study is the science of collecting, organizing, analyzing, interpreting, and presenting data. Is also used in many fields including education, business, and scientific research. The term of statistics may also refer to numerical information presented in table or graph. For example, information about the size of population and armed forces. Before applying statistical method, we first need to understand some fundamental concepts. So the basic concepts of statistics include the population, individual, the sample. We have also the concepts of modalities, the character or statistical variable, and finally we have the type of character or variable. These concepts provide the foundation for every statistical study. Let's start with the first concept, which is the population. So, the population is the whole group of people or subject that you want to study. It means all the individuals that we are interested in studying. For example, if we want to study the number of computer in the faculty of science, all the computer in the faculty represent the population. Let's define the second concept, which is individual. So the individual is any element of population. For example, if we want to study the number of computers in the faculty of science, a particular computer with its own characteristic represents an individual. However, studying every individual is often difficult or expensive. For this reason, statisticians usually work with a sample. So we know what we mean by a sample. A sample is a subset selected from the population. For example, student of University of Abdelhamide Mehri. All students of this university represent the population. One student from this university represents individual, and the student of Faculty of New Information and Communication Technology represent a sample. Now let's introduce another important concept, which is the character. So the character is characteristics used to describe an individual in a population or a sample. For example, age, height, weight, or gender. Each character can take different possible value known as modality. Let's see what we mean by modalities. Modalities is the different possible value or categories that a variable can take. For example, if the variable is a color, the possible modalities is blue, green, and brown. Now what we have and introduced these basic concepts. Let's see how statistical variables are classified. Statistical variables are classified into two main categories: qualitative variable and quantitative variable. The qualitative variable describe categories or qualities, not number. For example, color, job, gender, education level. Furthermore, quantitative variable is represent numerical values such as weight, temperature, number of rooms. And they are divided into two types. Discrete data is a variable that take a countable or of value, finished in practice. Continuous data is a variable that can take any value within a range, including a decimal number. Let's examine each category with some example. In the first, we start with the qualitative variable. Qualitative variable describe characteristics that cannot be expressed numerically. For example, gender, male or female, nationality, like Algerian, Tunisian, and we have a social media platform like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Now let's move on to quantitative variable. Quantitative variable represent numerical value and they are divided into two types. The first is discrete variable like number of children in family 0, 1, 2, and 3. The second one is a continuous variable like temperature from 36.6 degree to 38.1 degree. This is some bibliography used in this presentation. And thank you very much for your attention. I hope this lesson has given you a clear introduction to the basic concepts of statistics and prepared you for the next topic of this course. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.